everyone, welcome back. My name is Steph Koza, and today I'm going to be reviewing Won't You Be My Neighbor? Won't You Be My Neighbor is a documentary about Fred Rogers, aka Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, which was a children's TV show running from 1968 until 2001. That's so long. If you're like me, you probably grew up watching Mr. Rogers. You watched it every day. It was like the thing that you did. And it was just like this very low-budget, simple puppet show featuring Mr. Rogers and all of his puppets, which he voiced himself. Sounds kind of creepy out of context, but it was just great and beautiful and so pure, and it taught so many great lessons, and every episode was like about some sort of theme that they were trying to teach children, because Mr. Rogers was all about teaching kids. He just wanted to brighten their minds and teach them that feelings are okay, and tell them about hard feelings that they might be having, and just like guide them through life. It was like he could really tap into children's minds. It's like he never really forgot what it was like to be a kid and like the vulnerability of being a child, and so he still has that knowledge and those feelings, and so he is trying to help kids understand those feelings and use that understanding to get them through life. I grew up with Mr. Rogers. He was everywhere in my childhood. I'm also from Pittsburgh, which is where he lived and where the show was filmed, so he was like really everywhere. Like, he went to the same school as my dad. He sponsored all sorts of local events. There was a museum built for him. There's a statue of him by the river. He's just like, you go to Pittsburgh and it's like Mr. Rogers is everywhere. Because he left such a huge impact on the world, not just that town, but the world. He like changed people's lives. What a great man. Okay, so I'm just gonna say, this documentary, it was so good, so well done. I don't know if it was just like the music or the way that these people they were interviewing spoke, or if the interviewer just asked the right questions to get these responses, or if it was just literally just Mr. Rogers doing this, but I cried so much. I think I was just in a constant state of like crying or almost crying for like pretty much the entire movie. And it's so weird that it did that to me, and not just me. I'm not weird, okay? I got up after this movie. I was sitting in the front row, so I got up, I turned around. The entire theater was a mess. Everyone was crying. Everyone. There was like this really big, beefy, like metalhead looking dude just sobbing like a little baby. It was intense. And then I remember I went to the bathroom afterwards, and I was just sitting there, and I just hear like surround sound sniffling, like just everyone was a mess. This movie, I'm just, I get choked up just thinking about it. And it's kind of hard to describe. Like, even honestly, even when I watched the trailer, I got kind of choked up. I was like, we don't deserve you, Mr. Rogers. Because he was just such a pure soul. Like, he was completely one-of-a-kind human being. Like, he was just so nice and so happy and so well-spoken, and he wasn't afraid to talk about the hard stuff, and he was really good at talking about it and making you feel okay with it. I don't know how he did it. He had a gift. But there are so many moments in this documentary where we see him say something that just like hits you, and you're just like, ah, Mr. Rogers. And then we also see the people that are being interviewed in the documentary, like his wife, his friends, the people who worked on the show, and they all like very clearly have this huge lasting effect that he left on them that like changed them forever, and they all were getting emotional about it, and like, oh my god. Ah, Mr. Rogers. It was so good. Honestly, if you were a fan of this show as a child, even if you weren't, even if you've never heard of Fred Rogers, watch this documentary. It is amazing. It's so incredibly well done. I love when you watch a documentary and you can tell that the interviewer just like really asked the right questions to get the right response. Like, there are so many moments in this where I'm like, ah, that was so smart and that was so good. There's this one scene at the end where there's not really any talking, it's just like physical responses to a question, and I lost it. I was gone. I couldn't. Watching people cry in a movie makes me cry, especially when they're real people. Oh, I just can't take it. But it wasn't like sad tears. It was like overwhelmed with happiness tears, or like kind of bittersweet tears, because it's like, oh my god, Fred Rogers was this amazing, wonderful blessing of a human, and now he's gone. So it's like, you're happy that he existed, but you're so sad that he's gone. He was seriously one of a kind human being. Like, I wish we had someone like him today. I feel like we could use it. Oh, this movie, it did some things to me. But yeah, I think it's just an important film. Like, it not only tells you about who he was as a person, but it also shows you, like, people can be good. You could be a good person. Everything he says is, like, not just a lesson for kids, but a lesson for adults. And I feel like seeing a lot of clips from the show and, like, reviewing a lot of that stuff, I, like, realized how relevant it is now to me. And, like, as a kid, I didn't really pick up on, like, all the political stuff or, like, anything really. It was more just, like, this kind of subconscious thing he was doing to children. But when I watch it again now, I'm like, wow, he's really good at this. Like, I might just go watch Mr. Rogers reruns and learn shit about life. He was just so insightful, and he just knew how to tell you what you needed to hear. This is like, here's a good way to talk about this movie. This is a movie that when you're having a really shitty day and you just want to, like, sit on the couch and have a good cry, I would watch this movie. This is a movie where if I was not in a theater, I would just be, like, ugly crying, snot everywhere, just like, Mr. Rogers understands me, and I understand, and I get it, and I just, it's so emotional. I like, literally just talking about it makes me want to cry. So yeah, go see this movie. Honestly, I feel like if you haven't seen the trailer, watch the trailer, because that's, like, a pretty good summary of what this movie is. And like I said, the trailer made me tear up. Like, I almost cried watching a trailer. Why? A lot of emotions, a lot of feelings. I recommend it. I'm giving this a solid 5 out of 5. Like, super, super well done. And, like, not just because of the fact that Fred Rogers is an amazing human. Like, it was just really well put together. The music was really beautiful. The way they connected things that people were saying in the interviews with clips from the show. And there were some cool animations to kind of flow through the whole thing. Like I said, I think they really asked the right questions to these people to get the best response that they could out of them. It had a great narrative. It covered all sorts of different things that happened on the show and that happened in life. The show kind of follows, like, actual events that happen in real life. So there was, like, JFK assassination and 9/11, and it showed, like, how he reacted to those things in his show and how he spoke to children about those really tough things. And he talked about divorce and racism and just feeling mad and just, like, understanding your feelings. Oh, it was just so, happening again. Yeah, just watch this movie. It's so good. Please watch it. That's it for my review. I love this movie. I hope you see it, and I hope you like it too. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen this movie and what you thought about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Steph Koza, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!